Sports betting is very simple. And I know what you're thinking. Billy, what are you talking about? Between bankroll management, figuring out what type of betting strategy we're going to use to consistently find winners, sports betting can be quite difficult. But actually, there's just one metric that you need to focus on in order to become a long-term profitable sports bettor. And with this metric, you want to make sure that you're beating it 60% of the time or more. And this is the same metric that the sportsbooks use to profile or identify and try to figure out if someone who signs up with their book is a sharp sports bettor or a casual. And this is the difference between winning and losing long term. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why getting CLV or beating the closing line value is so important, and why you can use one specific strategy to consistently find this value to beat the sports books week after week, month after month. And it's the same strategy that I used in October to earn almost $10,000 in 1 month. With sports betting, we know that Vegas is quite sharp. And the lights don't stay on there because people are winning hundreds of thousands of dollars off of them each time they walk into a casino. So in order to beat Vegas and secure closing line value, you want to make sure that the bet that you're placing beats the line or the number that's offered right before the game starts. So let's go through two examples of where you beat the closing line and one example where you don't. So in the first example, let's say that you bet on the Chiefs money line at minus 105 odds for this upcoming AFC Championship game against Buffalo. Well, Vegas has the line at minus 125 right before kickoff. Well, you secured closing line value because you received a better price than what Vegas offers when this game kicks off. So when you bet the Chiefs at minus 105 odds for $100, when they win the football game, you receive $95 in profit. But if you would have waited right before kickoff to bet the Chiefs at minus 125 odds, you would have received $80 in profit. That's a $15 difference by beating the closing line value. So the opposite example would be you bet the Bills to win the football game at plus 110 odds on Saturday. Well, then when the game kicks off on Sunday, you could have bet the Bills at plus 135 odds, meaning a $100 wager when you bet the Bills at plus 110 will pay you out $110 in profit, where if you would have waited until kickoff, you could have got it at plus 135, which is $135 in profit off of a $100 wager. That's a difference of $25 because the closing line moved against you and you could have received a better price if you would have simply just waited. I understand you're not a fortune teller and you can't see the future. And that's why no one's ever going to be able to beat the closing line value 100% of the time. But a good range or gauge that you could put yourself in to become a profitable sports bettor is anywhere between 60 to 75%. You're going to see some people that might be able to beat the closing line value in a smaller sample size, a couple days or maybe a week, at an 80 to 90% clip. But a realistic number that you're going to be able to actually go out and attain day after day, week after week, month after month sports betting is somewhere between 60 to 75%. One of my favorite tools that I've been utilizing for 3.5 years for free is OddsJam's Bet Tracker. And they have a really cool feature where they're going to tell you when you place a pregame bet, the odds that you placed it at, and then the actual closing line value where you could have got this price. So as you can see here on Carlos Alcaraz, I got him at minus 1.5 first game spread. Now, I bet this at plus 115 over at FanDuel. I could have gotten this if I would have waited at plus 118. You see that I placed this wager at 7 o'clock on Monday evening. The match didn't take place until 4 in the morning because they were playing in Australia. And so if I would have simply have waited, I could have received a better price, but this bet ended up winning. But here on this tennis match and this college basketball game, I placed these bets Monday morning. And as you can see, both bets won and I got a green line because I got a better price than the closing line value, meaning that these bets paid me out more if I would have waited right before the games or matches started. Now, when I look at bets that lost over at Caesars, you can see that same thing here with Travis Kelce or maybe Yabusele. I didn't receive a great price and I ended up losing the bet. But there are times where you receive a really good price. Like here at the bottom, looking at the 76ers Magic over 206, I got a great price right before the game started. I bet this Sunday morning. The game didn't take place until 6 o'clock later that day, and the play still ended up losing even though I beat the closing line value. Good bets lose and bad bets win. That's a part of sports betting. but consistently beating the closing line value is how you'll become profitable. Now, utilizing positive expected value. This is the sports betting strategy that you want to implement in order to become a long-term profitable sports bettor. And the tool that I use over at OddsJam makes life very simple. Let me show you. The tool that I use to crush these sports books is OddsJam's positive expected value tool. And guys, linked in the description will be a 1-week free trial. And then use my code BillyC to save yourself 35% off your first month after the 1-week trial ends. And the main objective of this tool is to just search and scan all of the available betting options over at FanDuel, and then just point out to me the biggest inefficiencies or where FanDuel has made me severely mispriced compared to the rest of the market. So we're looking at Nikola Jokic over 9.5 assists in the 76ers Nuggets basketball game, and over at FanDuel for the over 9.5, we're receiving an incredible price, especially when we're looking at some of the sharper sports books like Pinnacle, Bookmaker, and BetOnline. So this is a play that I'm going to want to wager on because I'm getting an absolutely steal of a price. And so the idea behind this strategy is that FanDuel is mispriced. Sooner or later, whether it's a couple of minutes or an hour or two from now, FanDuel will readjust this price to not just minus 105, but maybe minus 110, minus 120. And then by placing this bet earlier in the day, we secure closing line value. And this is the strategy that I use to make sure that I find plays that have some type of edge. And typically, because OddsJam software is finding plays that are severely mispriced from the rest of the market, this is how we can ensure closing line value. So for right here on Jokic, I'm going to bet this for $210 at minus 105 odds. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I've been utilizing OddsJam for 3.5 years. I placed my first bet in September 12th of 2021 when I placed an arbitrage bet between the Bills and the Steelers to kick off the NFL season. Since that time, I've placed almost 22,000 wagers, and I've beaten the closing line value 64% of the time. I've earned almost $64,000 by just following the exact example that I showed you within that Jokic bet. Also, mixing in arbitrage betting has helped me become so profitable. And if you're asking yourself, how are you a profitable sports bettor only winning 47% of your bets? Well, that's where you need to understand how sports betting odds work, because predominantly I'm wagering on smaller underdogs in that plus 105, plus 125 range. If you have any questions at all about beating the closing line value or how to execute positive expected value betting, do not hesitate to reach out to me and send me an email. It's going to be linked below in the description. Focus on positive expected value betting. That's how you're going to be able to secure and beat the closing line value, which then over the course of hundreds, if not thousands of bets, will turn you into a profitable sports bettor. Now, within positive EV betting, there's a lot of different strategies that you can utilize in order to crush these sports books. And one of my favorite markets to attack, like I showed you in that video, was going after player props. So click this video right here. That's going to walk you through my favorite player prop markets that I love to attack so that you can make consistent profits off of these greedy sports books.